Welcome, everyone, to a very informative show today. We have our one of Powerful Women Today mentor experts, Gina Marie de Leon, that comes to speak to us about direct sales. It is a place where many women go to as their first step into becoming an entrepreneur, yet there's a lot about the industry that is not known or misunderstood. So, to get to a deeper dive and better understanding, here we go.
Empowering women on a global scale. Welcome to Powerful Women Today with Carolina Billings. Powerful Women Today is on a mission of inclusion, rewriting his story to include her story, and empowering, raising, and amplifying women's voices with professional speaking, publishing, original podcasting, and web TV. And now here's your host, the founder of Powerful Women Today, Carolina Billings.
Welcome, everyone. We have a show full of information, and I believe is of great importance. We have today Powerful Women Today mentor expert, Gina Marie de Leon, who is a direct sales strategist and founder of Direct Sales Blueprint. Welcome, Gina.
Welcome, Carolina. Thanks for having me.
Well, it's a pleasure. The direct sales industry has changed so much from what we originally understood or what we think we know about it. And so I want to address that. And also, is a magnet for women wanting to start their own businesses. So there's lots to unpack today. So tell me, why direct sales? Why are you so passionate about it?
Well, I'll tell you a little bit about my story and why I became passionate about direct sales. 6 years ago, literally, after my husband had been unemployed for a couple of years, I was a full-time teacher, preschool teacher, and I got into direct sales, as most people do, either because they get a discount on a product or service, or in my case, at this time, it was because I needed an extra income, a side gig. And I became involved. At this time, I was living in Mexico City. After a year of being with this direct sales company, and that my husband had still not been able to find a job, I was given the opportunity to come to the US, back in Southern California, where I'm originally from. And I started from zero. I helped them open a very well-established international direct sales company here in the US. And we started from ground zero here in Southern California. Now, what no one knew at the time, not even the company who had brought me into Southern California, was that I landed at LAX with $20 in my pocket. We literally were in dire straits financially. Mm-hmm. So, and I was just coming again. I hadn't lived in Southern California for 19 years. So it was all brand new to me. Within a couple of years, starting from ground zero, by the way, because they didn't hire me as an employee. I was actually on contract, so it was starting from ground zero as a consultant, commissions only. Within a couple of 2 years, 3 years, I was able to bring in a six-figure income, and of course, with that came, moving up within the company, and then coming into the corporate side of direct sales.
Now, you are a go-getter. That's why you're one of the mentor experts at Powerful Women Today. But that is not a typical result for people involved in direct sales. So I want to discuss the good and the pros and the cons, the good and the bad, and why is it that some people shoot to the stars like you? Because I've met many, many people that work in direct sales and clear six figures, right? Mm-hmm. And I've also met many that don't. So let's unpack that a bit. What is, in your opinion, the greatest misunderstanding about direct sales?
Well, there's a couple of things. I would say 2 to 3 things, main points. The first one is when most people sell you, when someone invites you to become part of their direct sales company or their team, one of the first things you hear is it's a flexible work schedule. And it's been my experience that a lot of people mistake or misre they think as flexible work schedule as working less. Flexible work schedule, as it states very clearly, is it just means that you can work whatever hours you need to work, which is part-time or full-time.
Mhm.
While, if you're a mom, you can work it around your kids' schedule, around your family schedule. If you work full-time, you can do it in the evenings and weekends. That's what flexible work schedule means. It doesn't mean work less. So,
True.
as
And that's very important, right? Because you usually get out what you put in. So if you're
exactly.
working, dabbling in or working 3 hours a week, it's not going to work. It's not going
It's
to
like
work.
any business. This is this is another thing why I'm so passionate about direct sales. It is an amazing opportunity for those that have thought about becoming entrepreneurs,
Mhm.
dabble into the trauma. And this is a good, and when I say dabble, if you dabble, you're not going to make any money. But
Mhm.
you're work at least doing the part-time. Now part-time is usually less than 30 hours. It's considered
Mhm.
full-time. Anything above 30 hours is considered a full-time job. With You can work part-time, a minimum of, I would say, 2 3 hours a day, really focused on a daily basis. This would can be considered part-time, and you can start bringing in a nice side income. And as you and I have spoken about, for women, for everyone, but particularly for women, it's so important to be able to build multiple income streams.
Oh, absolutely. If you are, especially if you're the sole provider, which a lot of, single parent households are
Mhm.
led by a mom, right? You cannot afford to have a single income. You simply
Exactly.
cannot. You need some kind of safety net. So here's what I like from an observer. I've spent many years, growing corporations, and that's kind of what I do. Is what I like about direct sales is that not everybody has the desire to start something from scratch. Because when you're starting something from scratch, and you know this perfectly well because you've started your own business from scratch, is there's a big runway, right? There's a lot of time that needs to be spent in developing the messaging and the logo and the technology around it and
Marketing.
the marketing, all of that. So when you're starting, when you join a direct sales group, it's really no different than being a participant in franchising or licensing, right? You
Hmm.
are tapping into research and development that's already been done,
Exactly.
right? So,
And a proven strategy as well. So most of these companies, especially well-established companies, they already have a proven strategy on what is the best way to sell their product or service. Now, that actually brings me into another misconception and why some people are not successful making those six income figure
actually,
is
never mind six figures. Most direct sales people only make a few $1,000s.
right. And the reason for that, coming back, is because what you just said. A lot of these companies already have well established, they have the strategies to succeed. And for some reason, many want to come in and reinvent the wheel. So they waste their time reinventing the wheel, trying to do it their way. And of course, they are not successful.
Hmm.
Now, this is what I think is one of the major pluses in direct sales. You're coming into something that they've already worked through, like you mentioned, the marketing, the strategy. It's a great way to start your entrepreneur. Just follow, it's duplicatable. You learn this, you teach someone else who you brought into your team. That brings me to the third thing why I think why Some direct sellers are more successful than others.
Mhm.
And that brings me to recruitment. If the reality is this, if you really want to start increasing and being successful in direct sales, you have to move beyond just selling yourself the product or service. You really have to become a leader. And to become a leader and start getting all of that personal growth and under your belt, you need to be bringing and inviting people, recruiting people, and building a team. Now, the beauty of that is once you're successful, you're teaching others to be successful in your team. The beauty of that is you're actually starting to develop a passive income stream through your team because you will receive a commission from their sales, not just your own
Yeah.
personal sales.
So and that is another thing that I've found, because yes, there are multiple opportunities to activate for income generation with when you represent a brand,
Mhm,
right? And I think that gets a little bit confusing along the way, because it's just like each formula is so complex. But I want to go back to something you said. You said that part of the challenge is that people are not following the script, right? They're not following the exact instructions of how to go from thought to execution, right? Of
mhm,
representing this brand. That being said, how, in your opinion, can someone activate the differentiator? Because say you're selling, say you become a representative of essential oils, that's which is quite common.
mhm,
So now you're representing essential oils, but so are 500,000 other people.
mhm.
So without deviating from script, how do you differentiate yourself so that people are choosing you opposite to the other 499,000 people representing essential oils? How do you navigate
So that's
that
actually
narrow
one of the great pluses that we have right now is social media.
path?
You know, social media is now part of our and should be part of every direct seller's tool belt. And that is a great way to differentiate yourself is on your marketing. So you're still using the marketing that you're being provided by the company, but you can get creative with those pertinent questions. And we talk about this in sales all the time. The basics of
Mhm.
sales is get to know your customer. Who is the person like yourself? You tried these products. Why did you try these products? How have they changed your health, your income? How have they changed your life? And that's how you're going to be differentiating yourself with the person you're speaking to, or you're either in person or in social media.
Mhm.
That's the thing what we forget to tap into is wait a minute. Yes, okay, maybe I'm a leader. Maybe I've been with this company for 5, 10 years. But it's so important to go back to the beginning. What brought me here? Let's not forget what brought us to this point, because that's really the person you're speaking to. That's where they're at. There
Mhm.
were you at, whether it was 5, 10, 3 years ago. Tap into that and bring it back into your marketing, into your mission, your vision when you're speaking to people. Don't forget how you started.
Yeah, and you know what? Is as I said, I'm fascinated by such a range of success and not success, right? And one thing I do know is that, and I can appreciate now more so than I did when I was in corporate, is that if you're thinking somewhere down the road to start your own business, starting something part-time, be it representing other brands or your own, right? Representing other brands, I think is a good idea, because you're going to find out if you like what it takes to be an entrepreneur, because if I see one more picture of someone on their hammock with feet up speaking about the joys of entrepreneurship, it's like, it's more like 70, 80, 90-hour weeks. The difference is that you it's your own satisfaction, it's your own business, right? You
Mm-hmm.
determine how fast the accelerator goes or the brakes. In Another thing that I like about direct sales organizations is that they have fabulous training, sales training, in fabulous training when it comes to marketing or social media, or like how to do all of these. So if you have a job and you're thinking of, right, perhaps, and you're not, in your heart of hearts that you don't want to start something from scratch,
Mm-hmm.
going the direct sales route is something that I think is worthwhile for everyone to experience,
I do
right?
too. Yeah, and you have thought, because you have brought in this percentage. So just so we know, less than 5% of direct sellers are getting to that six income figure.
Less than 5%.
Less than 5%. And we have over, well, at least in the US, we have over 6 million Americans in direct sales, and only less than 5 of that percent. What is the main, and just to kind of review very quickly here as we wrap up, here's the thing. Yes, it is a flexible income schedule, but you have to dedicate, if you're going to start part time, a minimum of 20 hours per week. That's the
Mhm.
reality of it. Number two, recruitment must be part of your business, not just selling your product or service. It must be part. And don't hop from one direct sales company to the other.
Represent brands that you genuinely believe in.
Exactly. And that's actually where
Mhm.
I come in. I love to, I mean, now that when I left my direct sales position, I had so many invites from different direct sellers who have worked with me and wanted for me to come and work for their company, which I'm very privileged and honored. Um, but here is the thing. You must really ask yourself those important questions. Make sure that your value really match up with the value system of that company. And
Mhm.
at times, which it happened to me when I started with a certain company, my values were right in line with them. And then new management came, which happens, and that those value systems just didn't quite match up the same. And so we just went our separate ways. But don't hop in and out. I can tell you, most people that have made, have, are making six
They're able to
income
make a living out of it.
they're able to make a living. They didn't always just start with one company. They maybe they've worked now with two or three different companies. They've gained that experience, but they've stuck in there. They've stayed at least 2 to 3, maybe even 10 years with a company and then moved on. So just plant your flag and at least give it, I would say, minimum of 2 to 3 years
Mhm.
where you
It's
are
like you would any other business.
exactly, and
Yeah.
consistently work that business.
Now, there's one area, and again, I don't know the industry as well as you do. I know how to grow businesses from scratch. I know how to level up. I know how to do a scale up, all those things. But I have never really represented somebody else's brand,
Mhm.
right? But one of the pet peeves that I have, and maybe it's because I don't understand the process, right? Is that there's a lot of direct sales companies where you're required yourself to purchase the product.
Mhm.
So I have a little bit, on one hand, I understand it because, any kind of professional accreditation, you need to do a practicum in which you need to hire someone that already has that qualification to mentor you. Okay,
Mhm.
I get it because you have to believe in the process and that is part of your professional development. But what is the genius behind having people put it as a qualifier that they have to purchase the product?
Well, here's the thing. Most direct sellers that come aboard start out as a customer. Most of us have started out as a customer. We started using the product, we love it, and then At some point in time, they say, hey, if you come aboard, you get a discount on the product.
Mhm.
And so that's how many millions of direct sellers start out that way, because they were originally a customer and they love the product and now they're getting a discount. So they weren't really coming in for the business, they were more for getting the discount.
Mhm.
That's one reason. The second reason why the company actually asks you to make a purchase, and it's not all of them, just some of them.
Mhm.
If this is a service or product that you are going to be selling, well, you need to be able to use it, feel it, if it's a
Mhm.
makeup or, like you said, essential oils. um, you have to have an investment.
Mm,
As it
mhm.
is, as it is, and we know this, anything for free, unfortunately, people do not take full advantage of it. And
So
even
that's
now,
almost like paying into all of their marketing R&D. This is like your buy into
it's your
all
buy-in,
of
exactly.
being an affiliate. I get it.
Exactly.
Okay. Fair
And
enough.
then you
Fair
and
enough.
then you also, again, the great thing is you usually receive a discount. And
Mhm.
again, this is where it's important for you to do your homework,
Mhm.
which again, I'm happy to help.
Yes, and I was going to say, really, if you are considering, especially if you wanted to really succeed, work with a mentor, work with
Yes,
someone that can tell you not necessarily the shortcuts, but the surest, fastest, most solid way to get there.
and
And
consistent.
I know you are extremely successful at direct sales and in a professional, and you're a teacher by profession. So there's so much goodness that you bring to your clients. So that's why you're one of our mentor experts, and I've seen you teach and you're very good at it. So what is something, we're now coming to the end of our segment, what is something that anybody interested in direct sales or getting better at it can do today, and then that'll be the send off to the end of our show.
So right now, someone with is definitely contact. You want to be able to work with someone as a coach. So the training that you receive at a company, it's good to get you started, but then to really move past that and beyond that, I highly recommend a coach. Of course, I'm here. You can find me. You can direct message me on LinkedIn under handle Direct Sales Blueprint. You will
Brilliant.
find me, and I'll be happy to work through this and coach you on how to get to the next level. If you're currently don't have a team and are struggling with recruitment, let's
Yeah,
talk
how to
about
build
that.
a team.
Yes, if you're thinking about maybe moving from companies, let's discuss
Before
what
you
are your
give up,
passions.
contact Gina and find out, is this the right fit? And if not, she's familiar with all of them. So
Yes.
she'll be able to guide you in the right direction to your needs. Thank you. This has been most insightful. And I know we're going to have many conversations. As we said, it affects many, many women. And that is to the core of our mission and vision of Powerful Women Today. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, Gina. And until next time.
Empowering women on a global scale. This has been Powerful Women Today with Carolina Billings. To learn more about how you can join and transform your life and the lives of women everywhere with professional speaking, publishing, podcasting, and web TV, visit powerfulwomentoday.com. Remember to subscribe to this podcast on iTunes, YouTube, or wherever you like to listen and watch your podcast.